quick recap of chapter 4. So the brothers they wanted to look into the case with the orangutan first. So they were talking with a girl that works there at the place with the orangutan. So basically that's what the chapter was about, just asking questions to one of the workers that worked with the animal. So let's see what chapter 5 brings us. On the road, the Bronx, New York, Thursday, 16th of November, 2006. Nice work giving her your phone number, sitting in the passenger seat. Dean had been hoping to get more than a sigh from his brother, but then Sam was driving, since Dean had decided that he didn't want to get behind the wheel again until they were somewhere sane. Sam was rationalizing like crazy. I just wanted her to be able to get in touch with us in case she wanted to stare at you some more. Come on, dude. She was totally into you. I mean, I even brought her a napkin when she got all misty-eyed, and she barely noticed. He leaned back. Clasping his hands behind his head, she was tuned into Sam TV. Well, Sam said, maybe she appreciated somebody not trying so hard. That was not trying hard. That was trying normal. Maybe you would have had better luck if you gave your real name. Sam grinned. I mean, she obviously likes old guys named Dean. Or maybe you're not her suit enough. Dean had been hoping Sam wouldn't bring that up. Not that there was a chance in hell that Sam wouldn't, but he liked to dream sometimes. Look, it's just Dean cut himself off. An orangutan had the same name as him. There was just no comeback for that. And he was a good enough poker player to know when it was better to lay down than to keep playing. So what's the next step? You're just embarrassed because you don't know what her suit means. I'm not an idiot, Sam. It means Harry. Now will you focus for a second? What's our next step? You're the one crying on about how she was into me. And I need to focus. Sam kept going. Before Dean could answer that, it's almost 6. I think we should head back to Avery's. See if he's home. Fine by me. It had taken the better part of a day just to get someone at the zoo to talk straight to them. It had taken all of his considerable charm and Sam's sincere facial expressions to convince the zoo press that they just wanted to ask some questions for a magazine. All we got for a day's work is that someone drugged the monkey, brought him out to the 2 students, and then left it for animal control, which we pretty much already knew. You think it was someone from the zoo? Sam asked. Dean shrugged. Maybe. That'll explain how they got past security, but well, come on, you saw these people. Claire, that Rita lady, they were nuts about the critters. They'd have to be to work there. I can't see one of them abusing an animal like that. as he got off the crowded highway and into a tangle of traffic at the end of the exit ramp, making Dean wonder if there was an open road to be found anywhere in this stupid city. I wish I could figure out what they're trying to do here. No bells going off, huh? Sam shook his head. Not so far. I'll dig into Dad's journal tonight. See what's up. It's still another 4 days until the 20th. That's the new moon, so that's probably when the next one's gonna be. So Free got time to figure it out. Eventually, they worked their way back to a fairy's place. Dean, who prided himself on an excellent sense of direction and on being able to find anything, as long as it was on a road, had no idea how they got there. This whole area of the Bronx was hilly and twisty and turny, and it gave him a headache. Give me a flat, straight roads any day. San Francisco wasn't as bad as this. This time, when they pulled up to a ferry's colonial, there was a dirt spattered 4x4 in the driveway with a bumper sticker that said, "Don't like my driving? Call 1-800-YOU-BITE-ME." However, there was a spot on the street next to the driveway, so Sam pulled into it. The front of the Impala was blocking the driveway a little, but Dean figured they were going to be in the house of the guy they were blocking, so no big deal, and it'd be trying to find somewhere to parallel park. Wow, Ash wasn't kidding. This is one fine ride you got there. Dean looked up as he got out of the car to see a man standing on the porch. He had long, scraggly hair that was mostly brown, a thick beard that was mostly gray, and a pair of thick plastic tinted glasses. He wore a Grateful Dead concert t-shirt and ratty jeans that were stained with brown and green and yellow. Dean decided he could live a happy life without knowing what caused those stains. He was also barefoot. "You gotta be Manfred of Fairy," Dean said. "I'm Dean Winchester. This is my brother, Sam. Yeah, Ash said you'd be coming by." "How is that old bastard anyhow? Please, God, tell me he finally got a better haircut." Smirking, Dean said, "Nope, still all business on the top and a party in the back." Manfred shook his head. "I mean, hell, I ain't one to talk about retro dudes, but at least mine is a retro that's respected. Know what I'm saying, man?" "Absolutely," Dean said. He and Sam walked toward the front porch. Sam said, "We heard you have spirit problems. Yeah, it's kinda harsh in my mellow, you know. But we'll get to that in a minute. I was just putting on a cup of joe. Come on in, put your feet up, and we'll rap." He grinned. "Sorry, retro slang to go with the retro dude. Well, hey, it's a hang, right? Close enough." Dean looked at Sam and grinned. "I think I like this guy." That feeling was cemented when they came into the house and Dean heard the strains of Jethro Tools for a dozen mothers. rocking chair, as well as a big china closet and a sideboard that was covered with bottles of alcohol, bottles of newspaper, magazines that had musical instruments on the covers, 3 guitars on stands, in one corner, several amplifiers, an entire wall filled with vinyl records, another wall filled with tapes and CDs, and an entertainment center that included a battered old television and a shiny metal stereo system that included turntable, tape deck, and a 6 CD changer. At first, he couldn't see the speakers, then realized there were 4 of them spread around the room for maximum killer sound value. It took Dean a second to realize that Manfred and Sam weren't around. Turning, he saw they were heading towards the kitchen, which was through the hallway next to the staircase, straight back from the foyer. You'll have to excuse my brother, Sam said. He's in the midst of having an orgasm. A grin peeked out from Manfred's beard. Sorry about the mess, but the housekeeper ain't come around this year yet. Come on. They went back into the kitchen, which was also a mess, with dirty pots and pans in the sink. Manfred shot some of them aside so he could fill the coffee pot with water. That's a nice set of wheels you got there, fellas. Manfred grinned again. Sorry, what is it? Right now. Anyhow, it's a 67, right? Yup, Dean said with pride. Had to rebuild it from scratch a while back, too. Whoa. Manfred poured the water into the coffee maker and then opened the freezer and took out a jar filled with coffee grounds. Special blend, he said at Sam and Dean's quizzical looks. Where do you find a 427 engine? Got a friend with contacts. Runs a junkyard, he tracked it down for me. Besides giving them a place to stay after Dad died. Bobby Singer also had been vital in providing Dean with the parts to rebuild Impala after the truck totaled it. Groovy or maybe cool. Sweet. Sweet works, yeah, Dean said with a grin. Used to have one them back when it was a knee guard. Wouldn't do me much good now. The trunk's big, but it don't fit the rig, you know. So why I got the soccer mom mobile. Anyhow, that old contraption died on my way down to Florida back in 78, he chuckled. Funny, I was driving down there with Becky to get married, and that damn car died. Should have seen that for the omen that it was. We split back in 86. So, Manfred, Sam said, you have a ghost. Yeah, it's pretty bad. After scooping the grounds into the receptacle, Manfred put the jar back in the freezer and retrieved a carton of milk from the refrigerator, placing it on the kitchen counter next to the coffee maker and a chipped sugar bowl. I don't know how much Ash told you, but I'm with a band called Scots. We play up in Larchmont every weekend. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. We do 3 sets. It's our thing, you know. And every time I get home from a gig, there's some crazy broad making awful noises and screeching and going crazy, and I just gotta get out of the house. It's only those nights? Sam asked. Yup, the coffee maker started making gurgling sounds, gurgling noises as the no now boiling water mixed with the ground and were poured into the waiting pot. Oh wait, not every time. There was this one Friday night when someone rented out the park in rear for a private party. So we didn't play that night. And no ghost? Sam asked. Manfred shook his head. Sam had to ask. Is it really called the park in rear? Another toothy grin. Well, mostly toothy, as Manfred was missing a molar or two. Yeah, but don't try that in the phone book. Nah, it's called Ned's Place, but nobody calls it that. See, there's this Trigunda sign that says park in rear real big on top, because it ain't legal to park on the street there, and the parking lot entrance ain't easy to see from the road. So we all call it that. He pulled 3 mugs down from one of the cabinets and poured the coffee. Sam got the one that had the dictionary definition of the word coffee written on it, while Dean said there's too much blood in my caffeine system. Manfred kept the one with the Metallica logo for himself, which disappointed Dean somewhat. Dean left his coffee alone, having always preferred it to be as black as his car. Sam, of course, dumped half a ton of sugar and then filled it almost to the brim with milk. For his part, Manfred just poured a bit of milk into his. Sam picked up his coffee but didn't drink it. Dean, being no kind of fool, waited until after his brother took a sip before trying himself. So, Sam said, this spirit is tied to the pan, you think? Damn Vino Sam. That's why I called Ash. I knew he was into that spooky jazz. Me, I'm just a carpenter for the city who plays rock and roll. I don't know nothing about crap that goes bump in the night. He gulped on about half his coffee, which made Dean think his throat was lined with ice or something, since it was still boiling, even with the milk cutting it a bit. Gotta tell ya, it's seriously interfering with my life. I mean, there are times when I wanna bring someone home after a gig. Know what I mean? It messes with the mojo. Having some broad screeching in the house. Have you ever seen it? Sam asked. Then he took a sip and cut off Manfred before he could answer. Wow, this is great coffee, Mr. Alfieri. Please, it's Manfred. Mr. Alfieri is what my kids' teachers used to call me. Those few times I went to parent-teacher conferences back in the day. You have kids? Dean asked, immediately sorry that he asked. Not to hear them tell it, far as they're concerned, the only father they care about ain't me. It's that jackass Beck married in '92. Nicest thing they ever say to me is, ain't you got a haircut yet, Dad? Sorry to hear that, Sam said in a quiet voice. Manfred shrugged. Nothing I can do about it. I do what I can for him, but they don't need much. They don't need me much. And hey, I just screwed their mom, and that don't make me a father since we split when they was just babies. Dean might have said something in standards weren't all that high. Generally, he and Sam made do with whatever they could get from cheap diners, motel lobbies, and gas stations, which usually amounted to caffeinated dishwater. Their father had taken to using the phrase a cup of caffeine, since what they usually had was so bad that didn't want to insult it by calling it coffee. Not this though. Dean would drink this flavorful wonderfulness even if he didn't need a caffeine jolt after a day dealing with New York traffic, Bronx bureaucracy, and women hitting on Sam instead of him. So you've never seen the spirit? Sam asked. Shaking his head, Manfred said, no, but I ain't looked either, I mean, I hear that yelling and I get out of Dodge. I don't even come home no more. Just wait till sunup. That's a bitch on Mondays, though. I gotta get to work. You said you work as a carpenter for the city? Sam asked. Manfred nodded. If you don't mind my asking, then how can you afford this place? Then Dean blinked at Sam's question, but now that he thought about it, it was a legit question. If Manfred was divorced, he probably had child support. And he couldn't believe that a city carpenter got paid enough to buy this place, especially given how much property costs in New York. True, he had the music, but if that was anything great, he wouldn't need the day job. Another grin. It's Andy being the son of two really rich lawyers. Well, Dad was rich, Mom was always doing pro bono work, but still, I was the shame of the family during the whole summer of love and you were going to Woodstock thing while Dad was representing oil companies. But I was also an only child, so I got the house when they croaked. I'm sorry, Sam said, again in a quiet voice. Nah, no biggie. Listen, I'm really grateful to you two for helping me out. Dean sipped some more coffee. We haven't done anything yet. Manfred, we'll check it out, though, see what turns up. Great, and hey, listen, you guys got a place to stay in town, cause if you don't, I got a couple guest rooms upstairs. That almost made Dean sputter his coffee. He managed to hold it in, which was good, as that would have been a waste of a fine beverage. Seriously. That's very kind of you, Manfred, but we'd be happy to, Dean said quickly, before Sam's politeness got them shoved into yet another motel room. He wasn't sure what excited him more, the prospect of sleeping in the same house as that record collection, being able to wake up to this coffee, or not having to share a room with the Sam. He loved his brother more than anything in the world, except maybe the Impala, but they'd been sleeping in the same room or all too often the same front seat of the car, which with each other virtually every night for over a year now. If the opportunity to get separate rooms for free, no less, presented itself, he was for damn sure taking it. Great. Listen, I got practice tonight. We usually rehearse in Tommy's garage. He's the drummer. We used to rehearse there. I got tons of space in the attic, but the neighbors started bitching. Didn't want him going cops on us, what with the weed and all, so we moved to Tommy's. Sam shot Dean and nervously got the mention of weed, and Dean just rolled his eyes. Jesus, Sammy. Did you think a musician's house was only gonna have coffee in it? Especially a guy who was at Woodstock. And tomorrow night, you guys can come up to the park in rear and hear us. I'll get you two in as my guest so you ain't gotta pay the cover. Still gotta buy the beer though. But they got some good stuff on tap up there. Manfred gulped down the rest of his coffee in one shot and put the mug in the sink. You fellas make yourselves at home. Rooms upstairs. The one all the way on the far end from the staircase. That's mine. The other three are cot beds, so pick whatever you want. Thanks. Dean looked at Sam. Come on, let's unpack. He took a final sip of his coffee, then headed back through the hallway to the front door. Sam followed him, waiting until they reached the front porch to speak. Dean, you sure this is a good idea? What's the problem, Sammy? The guy's got a spirit. Maybe this isn't the best place to stay the night. Dean stuck the key in the Impala trunk. Dude, we're the guys who kill the spirits. Signs, it's Thursday. Spirit won't show till tomorrow night, so that gives us time to give the place an EMF. Once over and research the house, maybe we'll even figure out the boat thing. The thing is, Dean, Sam hesitated after hoisting his backpack out of the back of the trunk. Dean said, what is it? I'm a little freaked out. Come on, Manfred. And okay, guy, it's not Manfred, Dean, it's you. It's like we're in Teen Disneyland in there with the Fillmore East posters and the amps and the record collection. I'm worried we're never gonna get you out of here. Assuming Sam was just giving it crap, Dean grinned. Dude, I can focus. Hope so, cause we got a spirit we know's gonna show Friday night, and a murder that we know's gonna happen Monday night, and we're staying with the guy whose house is full of illegal narcotics when we're both wanted by the feds. Dean slammed the trunk shut. Anybody ever tell you worried to punch Sam? Without missing a beat, Sam smirked and said, you, about 4 times a day. Then consider this